Here she is now, Cyndi Freeman.
Keep it going for Brad Lawrence. We just got home and I missed him, so it's nice having him home. Alright, so it was not a day that I expected my wildest dreams to come true. Actually, it was a horrible day in the middle of a crummy week, in the middle of a slimy month, in the middle of the worst year ever. And the issue of the day was me and my roommate, who I referred to as Good Susie, Evil Susie. We were at odds. And I called her Good Susie, Evil Susie because she never really knew what you were going to come home to. And when I met Susie, I mean, moving in with her and stuff like that, it seemed like a great idea. I'd known her for years. The two of us had done stand-up together in Boston and for years, and then we both ended up moving to LA at the same time. And then I broke up with a boyfriend, and Susie needed a roommate, and there you go. The evil thing was not really her fault as far as I'm concerned. She was on Prozac and had been for years. And she was always very nice on Prozac. And then she ran out of money, which is also why she needed the roommate. And so she was still very nice if she was a bit sad. But then she was in an AA meeting, and this ex-con who was at the AA meeting heard her talking about the Prozac and said, you know, at the halfway house that he was living at, the government was making him take Prozac that he didn't want to take. And he would be more than willing to sell her his prescription at $50 a month. And my theory is that he must have been like 6'9" and 380 pounds, because whatever the dosage was for him, it did not work for Susie. And she really wasn't sad anymore. It's like her ennui, as you might call it, was replaced with just a rage, and she now had the personality of a small and vengeful god. This week she had tried, the week of our confrontation, she had tried to put a curfew on me. She claimed that me coming home late and making noise was making it impossible for her to sleep. And my theory was she was just too happy on her Prozac to sleep. But I figured, you know, work with her, and maybe she had a point when she first brought it up. And so as instructed by her, I made adjustments. So when I got home, when you get home, you open the door quietly, and then you take off your shoes before you get in the house and put them on the little mat. And then you shut the door, twisting the knob so when you shut it, it doesn't make the click. And then tiptoe to your bedroom, again, opening the door quietly, shutting it without the click before you turn on the light. And when you go to the bathroom, again with the doorknob, no light till the door is shut, and whatever you do, please don't flush. The problem was that some nights when I went to the bathroom late at night, I would forget all the instructions. The light would go on before the door shut, and the light would then somehow seep across the floor of the hallway under her closed door, leap onto her, again the word is closed eyelids, inspiring her to scream out at the top of her lungs, "Light! Light! Light!" So that was Susie. She had decided maybe what would be best if I could just figure out a way to get home by 9 and in bed by 11. And I said that would be great if you paid my rent, as I'm a bartender and I work nights. She didn't like my attitude, thus we had a meeting, which actually went very well. I said, Susie, hun, I think you need to live alone. And in a moment of clarity, she said, you know what, Cyndi, you're right. Good Susie, evil Susie, you just never knew what you were going to get. So the problem was this was like a whole big new cherry on the whole LA sucked experience. I mean, there had been a friend who had committed suicide and left me next of kin, and I was on homicide charges for a day. There had been the boyfriend who I thought was the love of my life, but wasn't. There was every audition that I got in LA was for naked lesbian vampire. You have no idea how many roles are out there for naked lesbian vampires. LA, where like everybody wanted to know, are they real? I mean, everybody from the casting director to the little old ladies I was waiting on at the old spaghetti factory who would say, sweetheart, come here. Can I ask you a personal question? It's just, I once did stand-up and the person outroed by saying, Cyndi Freeman, a girl whose breast can't possibly be real. I hated LA. Anyhow, so So this was Susie. It was like moving in with her. I thought would be great. You know, I was having my problems socially. I couldn't stand the audition process, and then having this Boston comic move in seemed like great. I will have a friend and a partner in crime, and for her to turn nuts was just devastating. So when she moved out, it wasn't like I felt victorious that she was going to move. It was more that I felt like even more lonely. And the day that she decided to move out, I was like, all right, I just need escapism. I need a dollop of pure escapism, and I knew where to go for that. There was a video store. The only thing I liked about LA was this video store called Eddie Brandt's Saturday Matinee, which was a couple of miles from me, and it was this shop that was known for hard to find videos. And if they didn't have what you wanted, they took it personally, and they promised you they would find it. And they were a family; they were all related. So anyhow, they were nuts. So I went there, and the emaciated, blonde, albino hippie boy behind the counter, he says, "You," and I go, "No," and he says, "Oh yeah." And I'm like, "No," and he says, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "No," and he pulls out a video for me, and it says Wonder Woman, Linda Carter, and Deborah Winger, and I go, "No," and he says, "Yes." And you've got to understand, I'd asked for this months before, because when I was a child, my obsession with Wonder Woman, it was just, honestly, it was unhealthy. It was, the show came out when I was about 13, and it was the same year in Hebrew school that they were teaching us about the Holocaust. And so if on Sunday afternoons I was watching grainy black and white films of dead bodies being shoveled into pits, and hearing well-meaning senior citizens with tattoos on their arms telling us about what life was like when they were 13, which was nothing like my life. The antidote for me was on Friday night, there would be Linda Carter in a red, white, and blue outfit, and she had black hair like me, and she would be kicking Nazi fucking ass. Hell yeah! And then the show introduced her sister, Deborah Winger, raised by Orthodox Jews, if you didn't know, who also looked like me, and she was also in red, white, and blue, and she was also kicking Nazi ass, and she was also boy crazy like me, and she liked ice cream. Oh my God. I got a Radio Shack tape recorder. I started tape recording every single episode. This is before VHS, and I would just sit there and listen to them over and over and over again, and I would spin around in my bedroom like hoping if I could just get the red stripe on my sock to turn green. If I could just do that, I could eventually get the whole outfit going. And I even had my own character. It's like I didn't want to be Linda Carter or Deborah Winger. I wanted to be my own. I was going to be Wonder Woman's mean, crazy little cousin. And her name was going to be Artemis or Cynthia, because my name Cynthia is the same as Diana, which means moon goddess, which was her name, and my middle name was Renee, which is moon goddess Renee. Renee means reborn, so I am a moon goddess reborn, and that would give me moon goddess reborn powers. And so I had costumes, and I was, and then eventually I grew up. So there I was at Eddie Brandt's Saturday Matinee on what is a really bad day, and he hands me this video, and as I take it, like suddenly in every fiber of my being, I remember who I want to be. I want to be a moon goddess reborn, and I say, thank you! And as I'm having this conniption fit, instead of like jumping, you know, this older guy comes up and he goes, can I ask what the conniption fit's about? And I say, it's probably nothing. It's my favorite show from when I was a kid. I'm sure as an adult it's gonna suck, but it's my favorite show. And he says, well, I'm here from AMC, and we're doing a story on Eddie Brandt's. Do you mind if I interview you? And I'm like, of course you can. So he's interviewing me, and my eyes are still red from crying about the whole Susie thing. I've got no makeup on. I'm in a sloppy t-shirt. My hair's a mess. And I am going off about Linda Carter and Deborah Winger and the whole 9 yards. And when I'm done, he says, now finish that quick, because we need it back so we can edit it with the footage of your interview. And I suddenly realized what is going to happen. That when it's done, and this is what it was, it's Linda Carter and Deborah Winger and me. And we're all on national television together, being telecast to the world. And it was in that moment that I realized, your dreams can come true. No matter how stupid they are. No matter if you have outgrown them and realize I'm on to different things. No matter if there's lesbian vampires and crazy roommates and suicide and old ladies asking you about your boobs, even in LA, your dreams can come true.